What is going on, everyone? My name's Boyd and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the top of the map in the red color, playing as Zeus. His name is Eric and he's from Brazil. He's in the WKT clan and he is the first Eric ever. His opponent today in the blue color from OSO. His name is Pardo, but he is also known as Ulysses. He's currently sitting very high in the 1v1 rating ladder. Very high. Alrighty, we've got scales of Quintuple Plus has already been spotted, but it means nothing. And Ulysses actually running around this map looking for all of these goats or these pigs, and he's finding nearly every single one of them instantly. I did not mean to play fast, but as you can see, this is just where all the goats spawn on Marsh. So take that on notice, you players out there who like herdables. If you do a quick little circle around the middle of the map, you can find every single pig on the map. Well, almost every single pig. There's probably 2 or 4 other ones elsewhere, but that's pretty big. But it is also Marsh, and going onto herdables early is not really a thing that happens too much. We see 3 villagers on wood, the standard. 5 villagers on food though. It does slow down the advance time slightly. But it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to get on an early Jason, which is sometimes good on this map, going 5 villagers on food first is fine. Is fine. And he's found another pig. He almost grabbed every single one for himself. And Eric has found nothing. Whereas Eric is going what looks like exactly the same build. No differences at all. House going down on the forward sentry tower. We do see Ulysses spots this, and this could be a fairly bloody battle here because this is a pretty exposed location, pretty exposed gold mine, and on a high hunt map like this, going Athena can really crush some of that Hermes style Zeus play very, very fast. So we'll see if Ulysses wants to go for it. He has a fairly decent gold mine, but only in the fact that it is back in his base, not at the front. It is very exposed as well. So Eric could, in all likelihood, come in and really pound on this location here. But he does have a very easy time to get over to this side and make it really hard for an Athena to run from here over to the other side. Whereas Eric's Athena chances here hits this location here. That cuts off this gold mine, obviously, as does a Eric Athena rush. But given that the distance from this gold mine over to here is a little bit less, you can easily make your way over here and back and really hurt the economy of Eric and get a gold staff pretty easily. So we'll see what these guys decide to do. Ulysses advancing, and he is going up at what looks like to be 330. This temple is going up a little bit late, which is a product of those 5 villagers on food. You go 4 villagers on food, 3 wood, 2 gold. You will always get this temple up in time. We do see Hermes is coming out for Ulysses, and honestly, I'm expecting Eric to do much of the same. He's a little bit short on food. There he goes, dumping it in, going Hermes himself. This is the quote-unquote preferred Zeus metagame or Zeus strategy here, where we get 2 villagers, 3 villagers on favor and make centaur, make those Sylvan Law Centaur and try and get some nice raids. We see the scales of Quintuple Pass here with the 20% extra mythic crush vulnerability. Not really that big of a relic in this game because you're not going to get that much crush damage dealt to myth units at all. It's more of a Titan advantage, if anything. The nose of the Sphinx over here as well with a plus 15% building hit points is a very useful relic. We've got Harmonia's Necklace as well, which is a pickaxe or a shaft mine or something of that nature. And we do have Trojan Gate Hinge here. So a couple of good relics, and we do see Eric probably taking one of the ones I would have picked up last, and we'll see where he goes next. But He's going to be happy with where he's at this game with those relics. Immediate second centaur coming out, immediate Jason and Odysseus coming through. Already got 9 villagers on wood for Ulysses. And he's going to be spamming those centaurs like a madman. I'm interested to see if he goes for 3 centaurs first and then Sylvan Law because of the potential bolt that could come down onto the centaur. Or if he's playing around expecting his Odysseus to get bolted. And we'll see if that's the case. And Centaur are going to be moving out. Eric, on the other hand, has got his own second Centaur out and it's built Jason and Odysseus as well. So fairly standard play right here for both players. We'll see where they go from here, but at this point it's exactly the same units. It's going to be difficult for either one of them to win this, but got to be careful to not take a special attack from the Centaurs. Otherwise, that's some HP you're just not getting back in the normal times version. Against in the extended edition, you would see the Hippocrates coming out in this matchup quite a bit because the snipes coming through for the Centaurs just get healed back up, and so like that poking Centaur specials don't really do all too much in that matchup on this matchup on extended edition. But in the Titans, it's all about getting off free special attack hits and sniping that HP. And there we go. Knows who the Sphinx has come through for Ulysses, so he does get a relic as well. And I think where did Eric? You got the Trojan Gate hinge, and he hasn't thrown up any walls yet. We already see a nice wall going up right now for Ulysses. I like this one. It sort of protects this food villages and is preparing to grab this gold mine at a much later stage, but preparing for it nice and early is always very, very good. Catascopus running through here, checking what's going on. And Eric actually reads this really well. The Catascopus kind of telegraphed that the Centaur Polemark were coming in. We do see a bolt coming in. That's not going to be enough to pick off the villagers. You have to get 2 specials plus an auto attack from the Centaurs to kind of pick these off. Maybe it's 3 special attacks actually. It might be 2 shots from the Centaur, normal shots from the Centaur, and 2 special shots. So we do see a second town center coming up for Eric. And Ulysses, on the other hand, is supply blocked, but he's getting his own second town center. So both players doing exactly the same things. Looks like the second town center is off a little bit earlier for Eric, but he is 1 centaur behind. You can see that 4th centaur is coming out right now. Whereas Pardo is coming out with a 5th centaur. So it's actually going to have the centaur numbers here, which may be a little bit scary. And there's a sniper on the Catascopus, who's just trying to see what's going on in the town center. Does see that on the score though, that it's already up. And now they're moving out and doing their things. The crocodile does fall there. And Centaur's moving in for Eric. Odysseus here, not going to be able to deal with that. Does get the special attack. Nice micro from Eric, pulling the Centaurs back. Gets some nice return fire, but all up, that was a nice HP win for Ulysses. A couple of low HP Centaur that might get sniped next time. Odysseus and Jason coming in, trying to get some hits onto the Centaur, but they get pulled back nicely. There is the second town center for Ulysses, and we're going to go into a little bit of a boom war here. I like this town center grab for Ulysses right now as opposed to a little bit later, because you can't really deny the second town center with these Centaur and Jason against the same amount of Centaur and Jason. So it's not a bad idea to be doing that kind of thing. This town center over here, if he grabbed it, then he'd have to really fight for this one at a later stage. And so now that's going to be the problem for Eric here. He's grabbing this town center. We do see he's already moving up with the villagers. And we do see a nice snipe there from Eric, bolting the villager, bolting the Centaur as well, but he did lose 1 Centaur. So we're down, both players down a bolt. Both players down a lot of Centaur, down to 4 and 3, but back to 4 already. And now we've got Eric on the raids here. Going to get a villager pick off. He does pick off 1, and he will be possibly trying to retreat here now. You don't want to stay here for too long, because as soon as the Centaur starts up his animation, that's a lot of HP lost. But he does manage to get out of here. And now the Odysseus and the Jason just tiptoeing in and around, and they're just going to retreat back. I like that. I like the third town center nice and early. This is going to be huge for Eric, getting a super big economic advantage in this game. We'll see where he goes from here. Walls are already up right now for Ulysses, but Eric hasn't put up his wall, so he may get hit with some pretty devastating centaur raids as we see the Ulysses centaurs looking to come in here and hit this food on this location here. And we do see the centaurs moving in. They're going to get greeted by Odysseus. Got to be careful. Centaurs coming onto Eric's villages here. He will snipe one and then get out of there. I like that he pulled this centaur back first, but the third town center is already up for Eric. Third town center now coming up for Ulysses as well. It's actually not as far behind as we thought because there weren't that many villagers building this town center. But that'll be a bit of an economic hit to Ulysses. We'll see what happens with all of that stuff. The storehouse is up for Pardo. Ulysses, Pardo, same thing. Pardo. Archery range coming up now for Eric. And the centaurs are starting to get to a scary mass point. I'm not sure exactly how many you need to snipe a centaur, but I'm sure it's I'm sure 6 is looking like it. A little bit of an overkill there from these centaur. He could have killed 2 villagers there, and he does lose 1 for that villager pick off there. So nice play from Ulysses, and that's going to give him quite a nice advantage, or not advantage, but a recouping losses or whatever, like leveling the playing field, whatever you want to say, however you want to say it. And that's that. And now units are starting to pump out. We do see Ulysses going for military academies and archery ranges, and Eric going for hippocon or stables and archery ranges instead. I do like the stables over the military academies at this point, because if you've ever done the stat comparison for a hippocon and a hoplite, the hoplite seems very underwhelming, but the reason for that is because once the late game comes around and towers start coming out, the cavalry just get completely melted and they become useless. So you then have to swap into infantry or something like that, or just pure archers. So generally what happens is you go stables into pure archers in the late game once the towers come out, but that's not going to happen for quite a while. So we'll see if this the cavalry or the infantry are gonna work for either player in this game. And Ulysses is actually taking it very slowly on producing any units here. He's got a lot of villagers on wood at this point. He's gonna have to start building some farms. Though he does have some nice hunt out here. It's not that big of a deal. He had so many pigs, but he just was not been hunting, so he's really far behind on the food. So that's a thing. He'll be behind on food because of the hunt. Starting to farm and starting to do everything like that, he'll be okay. But I think Eric's going to be able to jump ages a little bit faster than Ulysses. As I say that, Ulysses hits the heroic age through Apollo, and Eric is a little bit behind on that one, but I think that's because he built some units here, whereas Ulysses hasn't, and he's just sitting back and enjoying his time here. Oh, the centaur snipe, he comes in, he picks one off, and he gets out of there. Nice play there from Eric, being very active with those centaurs in this game. And now farm's coming down for Eric. He does have his plow and everything else is good. Same for Ulysses. He's actually short pickaxe here. He hasn't grabbed a pickaxe, which is a little bit interesting. And there is a possibility of overproducing centaur, because once Heracles comes out, and especially once Bellerophon comes out, those centaur that you spend so many resources on is 200 wood plus 12 favor. And you have to think about favor, right? Now look at this. I can't tell you what it is. Hang on, if I click temple. Yeah. If you look at this, you get 0.116 of favor a second versus the villagers, which are supposed to be bringing in this amount of resource. So you can think about it as about 10 resources per favor. So at 20 favor, or 12 favor, sorry, this is kind of like 120 resources plus the 200 wood for a centaur. So you're looking at kind of like 320 resources ish for the centaur, which is big when they get one hit by a Bellerophon. So point is, you should not invest that much into the centaur. But we'll see what happens here. But looks like both players are going to be going through Hephaestus here. No surprises. We've got 120 favor for Ulysses, and Eric's sitting at 54. He's getting his Hephaestus. He's getting his fortified town centers. Pegasus is coming in looking for an underworld play, but you are going to be using that underworld against the ceasefire plus that underworld. We already see some Hephaestus coming out here for Ulysses. Obviously not scouting out the army of Eric at all, but that's not going to cut it. These Hephaestus do nothing against Eric's army. Just a little bit of poor. What do you call it? Poor scouting. I don't know if he's seen the army. He hasn't even seen the military buildings built by Eric here, so he's going to be in for a bit of a shock when he sees the Hippocon coming out. There's the Mythic Age here for Ulysses. Colossus coming out. Mighty Bolt slammed down. And a Bellerophon, as you can see, getting spammed out as well. Eric, on the other hand, also Hephaestus, also jumping with that Plenty Vault and getting Forge of Olympus. Both players have probably got... I was going to say both players have got 3 armories, but I only see 1 armory for Eric here. He is getting 2 here, and he will build a 3rd, and then start getting those armory upgrades. But, I mean, at this point, when you're playing a mirror matchup, and you're just trying to out macro the other player, which is what both players are kind of doing here. It doesn't even matter if you out macro them by 20 seconds. You're just not going to be able to do enough damage in that time, or even a minute. You're not going to be able to do that much damage in that time. We just see the Bellerophon coming in, and he's going to be able to pick off a lot of these centaurs, and that's huge. But it's just going to be replaced by units at this point, or some of those Toxotes or anything else. And Eric's just retreating here. We check out the upgrades for Ulysses. That's nothing. Forge of Olympus research for Eric. And Ulysses not getting any of his upgrades, but neither is Eric. Both players a little bit late on that one. We see Bellerophon jumping in onto the wrong unit there. Can't be using that special ability to jump onto a Jason. Like, it does a lot of damage, but you can one-hit the myth units in the back. We do see Jason does fall. We've got the Heracles coming out and the Bellerophon. No Olympus parentage for Eric, and also no Olympus parentage for Ulysses here either. We do see these yet again the Bellerophon just jumps in, gets a volley of arrows but dodges them. We see a forward fortress here for Ulysses. Eric does have his Pegasus chilling over here though, so he's ready to go, and Ulysses is walling in Eric here as well. I like this from Ulysses. He's already created his trade route, and he's going to start building that one. Needs to fix this, mark it up, and chuck it into the corner. And he'll be... I mean, I'm not sure why he would bother building it here and not just walk over here, but I mean, that's fine. We'll see what happens with the underworlds. We've got full copper here, and interesting decision to grab Burning Pitch straight away. It doesn't really give any bonus damage to archers beyond buildings, and you really don't want to have your Toxotes attacking a building. I mean, he is still attacking the building, but you don't want to have them there. That's what I'm trying to say. And he's still building. He's not building anything. Just he's got no units coming out. Fair enough. Spamming those upgrades. We've got heavy upgrades for Ulysses already. And he's sitting at only 142 population. He's actually kind of struggling at this point to mass out units. And I think that, I don't know if he's just going for the army quality over the speedy production, but he's going to get hit by a pretty devastating timing push here. And there is no reinforcement buildings for him. He's forgot to put down more military buildings. So if Eric just pushes here, it could be devastating. He's decided to turn around. Or at least it could be an underworld that comes through. And there's the Pegasus for Ulysses sitting over here, like the Pegasus for Eric is sitting here. And there's the Underworld coming in into this portion of the map. The Underworld comes into Ulysses as well as they're going for a bit of a base trade instead of trying to get to each other. This is all about who can kill the town center the fastest, because you send villagers forward and you ceasefire. You grab the town center and you ceasefire. We'll see if they can make it there. It's looking like the town center at the top for Eric is going down much slower because he doesn't have Nose of the Sphinx. We do see more Heliopoli coming in here for Eric. Both town centers are going to be very, very close. Villagers coming in, ready to kill this town center as well. Trying to move in. We'll see if he can get it. And the town center's down for Eric. Ceasefire comes in and he grabs that town center with the with Ulysses Town Center staying alive just ahead. You can see the extra 420 HP played a huge role here in order to keep Ulysses Town Center alive. However, the big question here is, can he make it over and then defend this town center before Eric picks it off? Because even though it's still alive for the next 30 seconds or so, he's still got to produce those units and get over here and fight this. So we'll see if he can do that or not. The town center will be getting up, but it's going to be very close to the 20 seconds left, or like 10 seconds left of the ceasefire, so he has to immediately get those units out. And again, his military buildings are very, very far away, and as soon as they start fighting here, it's going to be a difficult one to reproduce, whereas Eric's got 6-7 military buildings ready to produce up here for the reinforcements. So we'll see if he can take this one down. Does have the Silver Colossus upgrade coming through. Villagers are here trying to help out to take down the town center. Odysseus not targeting down the correct units here. He needs to get those heroes onto the Colossus. The Heliopoli are falling as well. And do we see any Colossus getting sent over here? Not just yet, but looks like the town center is getting very, very close to falling. More Heliopolis are coming in. Bellerophon comes in to snipe the Colossus. This is getting super close, but there's really not that many villagers here for Eric, who is, how many villagers he has? He's got one villager, and he manages to get it up with his own ceasefire. So trading town centers here, more villagers coming in to get this one up. You only need to get, say, like 6 or 7 villagers at the full amount, but 8 villagers should be able to try and just path block and slow these villagers down as best as he can, but he can only do so much. We do see some deleting farms over here from Ulysses, who's now going to start spamming out buildings. And we'll see if he can basically insta-kill this town center, and what Eric's going to do as a response to the top town center and maybe trade it back at this time. So we'll see. I'm not sure how this Underworld is alive still, to be honest. Got some granaries coming down, spraying those buildings out. I like it. Silver Colossus has already come through, and I assume that Eric will start to rebuild this Underworld as well once the town center's back up. Lots of resources in the bank, full upgrades or full iron upgrades. Got some champion upgrades here with champion Hippaspis coming through. I'm not sure I like the Hippaspis. Do I do bonus damage to siege? There's no bonus damage to siege, which is the big issue. They only deal 8 hack damage, and while they work well against the Hippaspis, you're not gonna have them on the Hippaspis for the majority of this fight here. If he was making hoplites here, I reckon he'd hold on to this town center very, very easily, and we'll see if he's able to. But I mean, it's looking like it's going down instantly, and there's nothing up on this top location to help him out. So Ulysses manages to instantly take that town center back down. With the help of these military academies already here, he may be able to fight back at this point, but we're going to be sitting in a bit of an awkward position here for Eric, being at 140 population, and Ulysses is actually at the same situation because he's really short on resources. His economy is completely shot right now, with these camel caravans still getting produced, and they're really, really poorly, poorly placed with this market here. They're only making, what is it? They're only making like 17 gold. They're making 17 gold. Economic upgrades are basically full. Still needs flood control, but Eric, on the other hand, is going great guns. There's the Titan Age coming through for Eric, so we're gonna see Eric's really coming in clutch if this becomes a Titan race. Where's the Titan Gate? Titan Gate going down over here. Bit of a dangerous Titan Gate. This may be in range of the Oxy Juggernauts. Now Ulysses is targeting the town center of Eric, and Eric's got no response for this. He should get the Colossus to pick off the docks, but he needs to throw down towers here or something in order to get that back. But now we're gonna have Eric making a move forward, and he gets access to the Plenty Vault of Ulysses, giving himself an extra, like, it's like a 20 villager swing, right? You take 10 villagers away from your opponent and you get 10 villagers. So giving himself an extra 10 effective villagers of gather rate, and he is going to be flying ahead even after losing this town center. Remember, this is still 8 population, so while Ulysses is taken down 20 population of Eric, he is losing out on 8 population here, so it's only 12 population there. So losing the Plenty Vault for that town center is basically the same effective population at this point, or 2 different. And Ulysses at this point, after losing his main base, losing his Plenty Vault, decides to tap out. GG, well played by Eric there. Nice, not panicking. I think this legit only just came down to Ulysses spamming trade here. This is a big reason why he couldn't hold on to this town center. Not having the military production and not making archers here as well was a very poor decision. He needs to get more Toxotes over here, and he probably could have held on to this. I feel like he could have also targeted down the Underworld. There was 1350 HP. Should have been able to do that one. Would have been a different story because only 1 villager was through. If he picked off the Underworld, the town center wouldn't have gone up fast enough in the ceasefire time. The villagers can't make it in because Ulysses is already completely walled in, basically. And I think this was Ulysses' game to win. He made the better play with the Underworld here in order to get the town center first, but then he just couldn't hold on over here, and then ended up throwing his economy down the toilet in ineffective or inefficient trade caravans. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Well played by Eric. GG. Move on to another game fairly soon.